All right, man. Peace to the 12. This video ain't gonna be too long, man. I just wanted to touch on the fact that no, Jackie Robinson was not the first black Major League Baseball player. All right, I'm gonna prove that. All right, we're gonna prove that through all these through these different sources. All right. So this is, as you all know, or at least if you live in America, you know that this is Jackie Robinson, the person who's credited to being the first black baseball player in the Major League Baseball. That's not true. All right. So anyway, let's get into it. All right, this is the Negro Leagues, history within a history. It says, all right, this is until July 5th, 1947, baseball had two histories. All right. But look here. African Americans have played baseball as long as white Americans. Players of color, both African American and Hispanic, played for white baseball clubs throughout the early days of organizing amateur sports. So, you see that? As early as 1867. As early as 1867, the racism of the post-Civil War era showed up in national pastime. All right, in 1871, the first professional white league formed. Bud Fowler became their first professional black baseball player with a non-league pro team in 1872. Fleet Walker, a catcher, appeared in 42 games in 1887. This was a famous but hardly isolated incident. All right, man, so clearly, all the way back since 1870s, the so-called black man, and Hispanic man for that matter, have been in Major League Baseball. All right. And as what was the man's name? It said, I'm going to get these guys. It said, what, Bud Fowler? Let's get Bud Fowler, see what he look like. 1 second. This brother right here is Bud Fowler. It says Bud Fowler. Born March 16th, 1858. Died in 1913. All right. Born John W. Jackson. Was an American baseball player, manager, and club organizer. He is the earliest known African American player in organized professional baseball. He was elected into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 2021, man. So that's one example, man. And what it say? Major League Baseball, man. Let's get something else. Man. The other guy was Fleetwood Walker. All right. His name was Moses, by the way, which Moses was a so-called black man as well. All right. But anyway, Moses Fleetwood Walker, born in 1856, died in 1924, was an American professional baseball catcher who historically was credited with being the first black man to play in Major League Baseball. All right. A native of Mount Pleasant, Ohio, which is funny because where I'm from, there's also Mount Pleasant. All right. But anyway, and a star athlete of the Oberlin College as well. All right. See that? So the first Major League Baseball player, so-called black man, and this was in the 1800s, man. You know, a lot of people don't know that, man. I didn't know this until I was a grown man. But anyway, anything else I want to touch upon here, man? Oh yeah, it says, yet the racial tensions between white and black people that were present in society showed up on baseball fields. Cap Anson refused to play in a game with a Negro pitcher, George Toby, at a game in 1887. This was a famous but hardly isolated incident, man. Anyway, I ain't gonna go into this whole article, brothers. Y'all can look this up on your own. It's called Baseball Reference Bullpen. All right, and the section is the... What's the section? 1 second. The Negro Leagues, as you see. All right, you guys can look that up on your own. I'm just proving to y'all that the so-called black man was in Major League Baseball way before Jackie Robinson, man. Way before this guy, man. And even now, when you look it up now, when you look up Jackie Robinson, see, when I was growing up, they never said this, but now when you look up Jackie Robinson, it says he was an American professional baseball who became the first African American to play in Major League Baseball in the modern era. See, now they say in the modern era. It didn't used to say that when I was growing up. Robinson broke the baseball color line. Yada yada. But and this is no disrespect to Jackie Robinson. It's just he wasn't the first so-called black baseball player. And I'm gonna get something in a minute to prove that baseball's been around for longer than damn the 1800s. We'll get that in due time. But no, he wasn't no damn first black, And even look at this article right here. It says Jackie Robinson, YouTube biography. Jackie Robinson, the first African American to play in Major League Baseball. That's a lie once again. But I digress. Let's get some more. This is a portrait right here. So, okay, it says black players in organized white baseball in the pre-integration era. All right. Once again, Jackie did this in 1947, his thing. But he was not the first black ball player to play alongside white players in organized baseball. Those who came before Robinson should not be lost to history. As you can see, it's a so-called black man right there, as well as right here. This brother kind of look like, I don't know, kind of like Eddie Murphy, I guess. This is Fleet and Weldie Walker. First two black players to play for a white major league team. All right. So that's another one right there. I just wanted to show you a picture. Once again, you can look up this article. It's called Beyond the Box Score, Black Baseball Players History. All right. Like I said, I didn't want this video to be too long, man. So I ain't going to go through all these deep articles. But as you can see, that's a so-called black man. Yep, we went to that picture before. Right here, Frank Grant. This is in the 1880s. 22-year-old, all right. So-called black man. I just wanted to keep showing you guys this stuff, man. Like I said, I ain't going to go too deep. Y'all can look it up on your own. But, yeah, he wasn't the first so-called black baseball player, man. And I say so-called black because black ain't a damn race. All right, black's a color. But anyway, this is another article. This is from Local Government Collections of Jackie Robinson. It says, The Color Line and Jackie Robinson. Drawing the color line in the 1860s to the 1890s, Americans began playing baseball on informal teams using local rules in the early 1800s. By the 1860s, the sport, unrivaled in popularity, was being described to America's national pastime. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, see this? African Americans played baseball throughout the 1800s. By the 1860s, notable black amateur teams, such as the Colored Union Club in Brooklyn, New York, all right, they had all black professional teams began in the 1880s, man. And let me say this too, man. This should let you know that all so-called black people weren't slavery because weren't slaves, man. Because this is in the 1860s, man. As you know, the Civil War ended at what, 1865? So how could they be able to form a league, a Negro league, in the 1860s if they were slaves? Where did they get the money, etc.? All so-called black people weren't slaves, man. I'll probably do a video on that in due time. I just want to add in that too, man. But yeah, and you click on this shit, you go to Jackie Robinson on YouTube. It says Jackie Robinson, the first African American to play in Major League Baseball. So they just keep bringing this damn lie. He was not the first black baseball player, man. And like I said, no disrespect to him, but he wasn't. He just wasn't. All right. It's another man, George Toby, 1866. Widely considered the best African American baseball pitcher of the 19th century. All right. This guy who, they have him labeled as listed as a so-called black man, but he's a Caucasian, man, so-called white man. Why is that? William Edward White. Well, we'll get that in a minute. But anyway, he played as a substitute in one professional baseball game in the Providence Grays in 1879. All right, why do I say he's viewed to being a so-called black man, but he's really a Caucasian? Well, when you do research on this guy, his father was a so-called Caucasian man. All right, and I'm a believer in the Bible, and as it tells you in Numbers, you are who your father is, man. All right, you can look that up on your own, but it says they list their pedigrees by their fathers. All right, and just as another example, not to go there, but Esau, he married two Canaanites, which are so-called black Africans. And Esau, but when he had those kids with those so-called black women, those so-called black African women, they still were Edomites. All right, they were still Esau's children. So anyway, just wanted to list that in there as well. And as it says, see mixed race studies. All right, William Edward White. All right, publicly he identified as white, but was actually born to a white Georgia man and an enslaved biracial woman. See, he even identified as white. Why is that? Because his father was a so-called Caucasian man. But you know, this is a list of first black Major League Baseball players. All right, you got all these people, and the list is longer than this. But William Edward White, Moses Fleetwood Walker, Weldie Walker, 1879, 1884, 1884. All right. So one would, and people, what people are probably asking, why is Jackie Robinson seen this way? That's because Jackie Robinson was a pawn for what you call, what's it called? Integration, man. All right, he was a pawn for that. He was a what you would call a leading person that was into that. I don't know. There's a word for that. I can't really think of the word right now, but he was one of them, man. And he actually forced his children to go to live in a so-called white neighborhood, and his children were tortured basically. And one child ended up dying, I believe, in a car crash or something. You brothers can look that up. And another one ended up moving to damn Africa, man. So the Jackie Robinson story, they ain't gonna put that in the movie, man. And of course Jackie Robinson, he ended up having horrible diabetes. I believe he lost his legs. So they don't put that part in the movie though. Or maybe they do. I ain't never seen the damn movie, so I couldn't tell you. But anyway, that's why they pushed Jackie Robinson as the first to do something, man. And he wasn't. All right. Once again, no disrespect to him. But this is what I wanted to get, letting you know that baseball has been around longer than the damn 1800s, man. All right, this is an article by Weekly World News. It say ancient Egyptians invented baseball. All right. By the way, of course, the ancient Egyptians were so-called black Africans as well. But probably do a video on Egypt sometime, Lord willing. But anyway, let's read this. It says a leading archaeologist says the ancient Egyptians invented baseball 3,500 years ago, before Abner Doubleday, the creator of today's version, was even born. Nothing new under the sun, brothers. Baseball might well be a great American pastime, all right, but if they think they invented the game, they're crazy. Dr. Peter Drost told reporters in ancient Holland, in Holland, the Egyptians were playing a near identical version thousands of years ago. They called it hit catch and liked it so much that they played the sport year round. All right, so it was called hit catch. It was played by two 6-man teams using crude leather gloves. See that? Crude leather gloves, wooden bats, and ball composed of tightly wrapped palm fronds. The ancient game used only 3 bases, unlike today's 4. But the object was otherwise the same: hit the ball as far as possible and round the bases to score. And that shows you that, once again, so-called America, it is spiritually Egypt. It is, man, which is in the scriptures. But etc. Players had the status of minor gods and almost always came from the upper classes. It's still like that today. A lot of people worship these so-called ball players, whether it be football, whatever, man. You got people, they fight over each other. Some people get killed over a damn jersey, man. All right. Games were followed by wild parties and feasts. Winners were treated like heroes. It's still like that now, man. It's still like that now. Nothing new under the sun. The scroll describes the Egyptian game as written as a rule book form. It doesn't say when the Egyptians started playing a hit catch. It does suggest that the game was most popular between 1460 and 1390 BC, not long before the famed King Tut was born around 1370 BC. It's not very clear why the Egyptians stopped playing, but we know that they did because there are no other references to the game in the historical record. I imagine after a while people just got bored and started doing something else. Well, we'll never know that, man. We'll never know why it happened. I really don't give a damn why it happened, But that's neither here nor there, because I don't really give a damn about the Egyptians, other than proving who the Egyptians had enslaved and proving who their lineages are. But anyway, Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. All right. This is what I want to end it on. All right. It says, the thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. All right. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It hath been already of old time, which was before us. And that goes back to, yes, the Egyptians. That was 3,500 years ago, man. All right, like I said, the video ain't going to be too long. And with that, I said I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And once again, I want to say peace to the 12. I'm gone.